Hi everyone, I am Zuleika and this is Group 10 and we will be presenting our topic for today. Before that, let me ask if let me ask. No, I will tell you na we all know what Duolingo is and its purpose, which is to teach us new languages and provide information. But that is not the topic, or that is not what we're going to talk about for today. Instead, we named it environmental lingo. So, why environmental lingo? Because
So, our main topic for today is all about environmental crisis and sustainable development. Pero kailangan muna nating malaman kung ano ba ang environmental crisis. So, when we say environmental crisis, it's very simple lang. Basically, ito yung nakukuha natin kapag nagde-degrade or nasisira ang environment natin due to human activities. So, kumbaga, think of this as the dark side. Pero ang kabaligtaran ng dark side, of course, ay ang light side nito.
So, ang light side natin, bali yung savior. Kumbaga, our Superman. It is the sustainable development. Bale, may paraan tayo na mag-develop ng mga products or yung environment natin, pwede nating sustainable. Bale, yung sustainable development, ito yung approach or a way for us to still progress in time and still meet the needs of human production, meet the needs of human lives without compromising the environment in a way na wala lang matitira for future generations.
thank you so much. And now, let us move on to the introduction. Hola! Soy Zuleika. I am Zuleika, and today I will be introducing the introduction for the environmental crisis and sustainable development. So, most of us are living in Metro Manila, and we all know that Metro Manila is a really huge or composes of different cities. And within these cities, there are many buildings. A lot of people are using this as like a workspace. This is where they live, and so on and so forth. But when we live in such a city like Metro Manila, it exposes us to serious environmental problems. What do I mean by serious environmental problems? So, we experience different common waste issues like rotting food, dead rats, and plastics. So, why these specific examples? Kasi when we go out of our homes, as simple as going to school or going to work, we see a lot of these issues. Paglalakad ka pa lang sa sidewalk, makakakita ka na ng iba't ibang basura like plastic, mga kaning baboy na nandun lang, at yun na nga, kasama na ang dead rats dun. So, na-i-inhale natin 'to at nai-intake natin 'to sa araw-araw na pamumuhay natin, which is actually bad. Another issue is, of course, the result of living in such a big city like Metro Manila is the heavy traffic. Alam naman natin na napaka-common ng traffic dito sa Pilipinas. At dahil common siya, sa traffic na to, iba't ibang klaseng usok from different types of cars ang lumalabas. 'Di ba? And pag lumabas yon, yung mga taong naglalakad, like us, when we go to places, nai-inhale natin yon. And when we inhale that, it affects our health. And imagine kung araw-araw mong nararanasan yun, 'di ba? Ano na lang ang masasabi ng katawan mo sa'yo. And that causes delays and pollution. But air pollution does not stop from traffic itself. Because it is a big city, Metro Manila is composed of different buildings. Kasama na dito yung pollution na galing sa mga factories na nagpo-produce ng mga pagkain natin, ng iba't ibang products, at kasama na rin yung mga restaurant na kinakainan natin, which actually makes it worse. Kasi isipin mo, marami na ngang pollution sa traffic, mas dadagdagan pa ng mga factory at restaurant na 'to. That is why that results to these environmental problems, which we call the poor quality of life, unsafe water, and species extinction. Poor quality of life kasi nasasanay tayo or normalize natin na ayos lang na maraming basura na ganyan. Okay lang na lumabas tayo na nakaka-inhale tayo ng maraming usok. Okay lang na tinatapon natin yung mga basura sa gilid. Basta tuloy lang ang buhay. And that is a poor quality of life. Unsafe water. Well, hindi din naman natitigil ang pollution sa air at sa land. Kasama na ang water dito. Intense ang pollution natin sa water because we throw a lot of our things different ways to water, to bodies of water like rivers that we have, and due to that actions magkakaroon or possible na magkaroon tayo ng species extinction. Hindi man sa atin, but to different other species like plants and also fishes that contributes a lot to our living. If we continue these wastes, edi maging extinct sila. Wag naman sana, pero kapag pinagpatuloy pa natin dun, kasama na yung species natin dun. So, I just want to recall na dapat it is a eye-opener that these waste are actually serious. Hindi lang siya basta-basta na tapon dyan, tapon doon, tapos the next day na agad, tuloy na lang ang buhay. No, we have to take action, and this is a great introduction to what kind of city or world are we living in na. That is all. Thank you.
你们好，我是 Daniel Tan，很高兴认识你。So, we've been giving a fair introduction by Miss Zuleika about sa yung current na hinaharap ng world, not just the Philippines, but the whole world, and yung adverse effects nito, not only to human life, not to just ours, pero pati mga hayop, pati yung lugar natin na aapektuhan niya. Which is why this leads us to my main topic, which is the world's leading environmental problems. So, what are these uh, the environment problems of the world currently? It In Tagalog, or in simple terms, these are the widespread concerns that exist in a global scale. Ito na yung mga problemang nakakakuha ng atensyon sa mga di lang sa atin as mga tao na nakakaranas nito, nakikita natin sa kalsada, sa tabi-tabi, hindi. Ito yung sobrang concerning na nakikita na ng gobyerno sa iba't ibang mundo. Literal na kada ba ay or hindi lang iba't ibang mundo rather, iba't ibang bansa na napapansin na sa sobrang lala na nitong mga 'to, nagkakaroon na ng global concern na tinatawag, na fino-force na sila mag-unify na ma-counter 'tong mga problemang ito. Bale, sa sobrang problematic nito, human lives, fauna and flora are affected by these problems. Yun nga, katulad na na-mention earlier sa introduction, tayo as humans, mga hayop, mga fauna and flora, mga halaman na apektuhan na. And as mentioned, this can lead to extinction. Kung hindi, just as bad, naapektuhan rin yung habitat nila. And yung unfortunate dito, hindi natin pwede natin silang i-ignore, pwede natin silang hindi pansinin, pero lalala pa rin sila. At the same time, itong mga 'to, gawa 'to ng it's done by us humans, whether we agree to it or not. Yung pagtapon mo lang ng candy sa kalsada, like di mo napansin, lumipad sa kamay mo, nag-contribute ka na sa pollution. Sumakay ka ng kotse, nagbubuga ng ano, ng usok sa tumbutso niya, nag-contribute ka na rin sa pollution. So, next slide please. So, ayun nga 'no, yung world's leading environmental problems as mentioned earlier, yung pollution. And these are not just like the typical kind of pollution as mentioned earlier. No, ito yung pag-desecrate ng lupa, ng langit at ng dagat natin. Bale, as mentioned earlier, hindi lang simpleng pagtapon ng basura ginagawa natin, hindi lang tayo nagkakalat sa lupa natin, nagkakalat rin tayo sa dagat natin, nagkakalat tayo ng usok sa langit natin dahil sa mga factories, mga planes, air travel or ano man pong commercial na ginagawa. And this leads to a global climate change dahil sa sobrang problematic nito. So next slide please. And whether we like it or not, next slide, ayan. Whether we address it or not, pansinin natin or hindi, lalala pa rin 'to ng lalala. Lalala pa rin 'to ng lalala. Magpapakita ta rin 'to at magpapakita Bale, whether we like it or not, this will persist and this will continue to worsen and it will always affect our lives and it will occur in a global scale. Buong mundo na popollute, buong mundo na pupulo ng kalat natin, buong mundo maapektuhan. Hayop, humans, or dagat natin. So, ayan po. Next slide. Ipapakita ko naman po sa inyo yung mga visual representation ng mga problems na ito na nangyayari sa atin right now. So the list of our environmental challenges of today is yun nga, yung desecration of land and sea. Bale sa mga landfills pa lang natin, connected nga to sa waste disposal catastrophe dun sa right. Yung problema sa atin is yes, gumagawa tayo ng landfills, pero hindi tayo responsible. Sometimes we put our landfills close to the waters and this leads to desecration and affecting the lifestyle or the habitats of the creatures of both land and sea. Bale mga isda natin, yung mga hayop na taga-dagat, naapektuhan sila, naapektuhan yung ecosystem nila, and maraming namamatay. And because we desecrate the land and the sea, yung global weathers natin, yung mga bagyo, na mga current tropical climate natin, naaapektuhan siya, hindi lang kasi na nagkakalat tayo, naapektuhan yung lupa, yung langit o yung ano, yung dagat, naapektuhan pati yung climate natin. The more carbon we produce, the hotter it gets. And when it gets hotter on some days, it gets colder in some days. Ano meaning yan? Minsan yung isang beses sakto lang yung bagyo, ngayon palala na ng palala. So, sobrang malaking problema. Next, we also have overpopulation. Hindi lang yung environment, not necessarily yung ecosystems, hindi lang yung land, hindi lang yung dagat, hindi lang yun yung problem. Yung problema rin is yung overpopulation. Yes, we can counter this by limiting our people as to how we produce ourselves as a kind, as a species. But at the same time, katulad din po na na-mention dun sa last study, hindi lang dahil sa babies nagiging overpopulation. Nagiging overpopulation rin siya kasi nagiging sobrang dense tayo sa isang spot, especially sa Manila or sa National Capital Region in general. Masyado tayong siksik sa isang parte ng Pilipinas. Masyadong na-exhaust yung space dun sa isang space na yun. And speaking of exhaustion of materials. So sobrang dami na natin as a race, sa sobrang dami na natin as people, and sa sobrang dami natin na hindi pa tayo nakakahanap ng ways na maging reproducible yung ibang materials natin. This leads us to mining or deforesting our land. Bale nakakalbo yung mga puno natin and yung pagmimina natin nasisira yung mga natural na bundok, nasisira yung mga natural habitats ng mga hayop, which is very very bad. Which leads us to, next slide, the destruction of the ecosystems. Ngayon, yung sa pag-destruction ng ecosystems, next slide please. Sa destruction of ecosystems, yun nga as I mentioned, nasisira yung mga habitats ng mga hayop. Sa pag-deforest natin, nawawalan rin ng oxygen yung mga hayop. Sa pagtuloy natin ng pag-produce ng mga carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and any other harmful gases, nako-contaminate yung air natin and nako-contaminate yung water as I previously mentioned. This leads to the depletion of the ozone layer. Yung ozone layer natin, pinag-aralan natin to nung elementary or nung high school. Ito yung nagprotect sa atin from any UV radiation, from any radiation coming from the sun. Ito yung nagpo-prevent sa atin para maging hindi magka-skin cancer, which is very bad kung nagiging depleted siya dahil sa pag-produce natin ng carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. And speaking of carbon dioxide, acid rain. Yung acid rain nangyayari siya dahil sa sobrang increased levels of acidity sa langit natin, nagkakaroon na ng chance na yung tubig mismo natutunaw na hindi lang yung mga puno, yung mga buildings rin natin, infrastructure. Basically, ginagawa niya makaluma na tignan yung mga buildings natin. Worse, dinidestroy niya yung integrity ng mga buildings. Next is water pollution. Yun nga, as mentioned, yung water pollution, nangyayari siya pag hindi tayo responsible sa pag-dump ng mga basura natin. And next slide. Ito naman po yung unfortunately wala tayong control. So next slide. Sa urban sprawls naman po, ito yung nangyayari talaga to dahil sa yun nga, madami na tayo, overpopulated tayo. Pero yung tragic dito, we are reaching a point of urbanization. Bale, dumadami na nga tayo. At the same time, mas nagiging advanced na tayo as a human race, as a species. Pero yun nga, sa pag-urbanize natin mga lupa, yung mga ecosystems, mga habitats naaapektuhan na natin. Yung mga naa-alter natin not only yung land, naa-alter natin yung mga organisms, which leads us to the generation of GMOs, yung mga halaman na linalagyan natin ng drugs, ini-injecto na natin ng gamot para lang ma-benefit tayo as a race. It benefits us pero hindi necessarily nabe-benefit yung natural na wildlife. And lastly, pandemic. Yung mga pandemic, ito yung mga challenges na we aren't able to control it, especially 'pag nangyari talaga 'to at such a global scale. Pero naging kasalanan rin natin 'to with our innovation of, yun nga, air travel katulad nung nangyari nung 2020s. Yung pandemic ng COVID nangyari lang yun kasi a person from China got the virus. Nag-travel siya sa ibang bansa, nagkalat yung gamot or yung sakit na yun. Nagkalat yung COVID, nagkalat lang 'to kasi we have air travel, we have land travel, and sa sobrang bilis magkalat nung sakit na yun, nagkalat rin siya because of our, yun nga, pag-develop ng mga transportation natin. And that is the end of our list of environmental challenges. Give me 1 second, may ano lang po. Sorry po, may mga inasikaso lang po. So, next slide naman po is man-made pollution. Yun nga po, sinabi na ang environmental challenges natin ay sadly, unfortunately, gawa natin. Yung man-made pollution is gawa natin, and whether we like it or not, tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya. Kasi patuloy yung pag-innovate natin, patuloy yung develop natin is a race. So, next slide please. Yun nga, nasa modern age na tayo, and through this modern age, nagde-develop tayo ng mga factory, and 'pag may factory tayo, may landfills. Sa pagkalat ng mga basura nito or paggamit ng kotse or paggamit natin ng eroplano or paggamit natin ng mga products natin, kahit aircon natin nakaka-contribute sa pollution. And yun nga, sa sobrang negative nito, daily lives natin naapektuhan, and hindi lang, yung usok na hinga ko, hindi. It's not just us in the city kundi pati yung mga nasa ibang provinces, mga suburban, naapektuhan rin yung lives nila, which is very tragic. Next slide please. Ngayon sa sobrang tragic nito, we have statistics. In China alone, and this is a recent study na tiningnan ko rin, it is said that 20% of China's soil is polluted by coal fumes. Ano 'tong coal fumes? Dahil sa ano nila, sa Ayan, 'pag as a developing country, nag-rely sila sa coal-based power, and sa coal-based power nito, yung fumes ng pag-burn ng coal, pag-generate ng electricity, na-contaminate na yung lupa nila. Bale yung mga farmland nila, yung mga natural habitats ng mga hayop, as I've mentioned, naapektuhan na nitong coals na 'to, nitong toxic na gases. And may recent study na sa New York Times na binan na nga 'to, though pina-phase out na nila yung pag-develop nitong ano, or pag-use ng coal sa mga power nila. Unfortunately, nandun pa rin yung effect. Yung tragic sa mga man-made pollution or mga pollution na ginawa natin as humans, tragic dito, kahit iwanan na natin, lagi pa rin magkakamarka. Katulad ng sugat. Pwede yung sugat na yun is gawa natin or gawa ng ibang bagay. Pero may marka pa rin, may peklat. And kahit phase out na ni China yung pollution or yung paggamit ng coal as a power source, yung mga farmers, mga villagers nila sa mga suburban areas, sila pa rin nahihirapan. Sila pa rin yung nawawalan ng ng chance na magtanim ng mga crops nila normally, especially with the polluted ground. Next naman po is yung Nigeria. Yung Nigeria po, in a study, is 94% daw ng population nila is exposed to air. In this Climate and Clean Air Coalition na study dito in the 9th of January 2026, sobrang affected sila ng ng air pollution in general. Like yung buong population nila sa Africa, sobrang exposed. Pero yung good news, kasi recent study, this source sa slide is galing sa PDF, din sa sinend sa lesson. But in a light of good news, si Nigeria daw is finding ways para counteract na 'to. Gusto na nila mag-turn back dun sa air pollution with their vehicles, with the development of e-vehicles at sa paggamit ng coal. Pero nga, as mentioned, katulad rin po sa China, Kahit i-phase out na nila yung mga paggamit ng mga gas-powered vehicles or coal-based na energy, unfortunately may marka pa rin. Yung population pa rin nila affected and we can only hope na mawala or ma-diminish na yung nila, yung pollution over time. And lastly, but sadly, yung India. Now, yung India sinabi dito, they've experienced the most and the worst air pollution in 2015. According to unearthgreenpeace.org, nung 2015, sinabi na worst na air pollution year nila kasi doon pa lang 3,283 people died dahil dun sa sobrang sama ng air nila. And in China, nung 2015, 3,233. And this is because sa sobrang taas ng concentration, not only in factories, they are a developing country. So, factories are obviously in the equation sa pagiging nila, polluted. Pero yun nga, we know that they have traffic. We know they use gas-based vehicles and hindi pa sila sa sobrang advanced na gumagamit na sila ng e-vehicles. So up to now, there is a study, hindi ko lang ma-pull up yung source kasi nasa docs lang ako. Pero basically, up to now, they are still combating that issue. They are still finding ways to improve the current issue with air pollution. Pero yun nga, kahit gusto nila i-improve, the mark is still there. And in the next slide po, hindi lang porket si China, si Nigeria, or si India, hindi lang porket sila lang nahihirapan. Bale, no. Yung buong mundo na apektuhan rin ng pollution. And tayo mismo may problema. In Manila alone, in Metro Manila alone, tayo mismo, unhealthy na yung air natin, yung slums natin, actually yung general city pa lang natin, exposed na sa unhealthy amounts of air. According sa iqair.com, which is a website na nagtra-track ng pollutant concentration sa sa world, in Metro Manila alone, there is 72.1 micrograms per cubic meters sa air natin. Now, what does that mean? In our case po, ang 50 plus na micrograms sa hangin natin, masama na yun, unhealthy. Tayo, 20 micrograms over that. So, hindi porket, si China naapektuhan. Si Nigeria, kawawa naman. Si India. Hindi, tayo rin mismo nagko-contribute dun sa air pollution. Sila, ganun na nga yung contribution, tayo rin nagko-contribute. And dahil sa pagko-contribute natin, yung lives rin natin as students or kahit hindi lang tayo mga estudyante, mga workers natin, mga bata, yung mga matatanda, naapektuhan rin sila whether we like it or not. So, as tragic as it is, itong mga statistics and itong mga sad na reality na pinakita ko sa inyo, we are going to have a catching up portion in our lesson. So, next up, our Nuna Cyrene will give us a catch up on what is going on currently. Sheshe, Taichen.
Ayan. Have you ever wondered what the environmental problems are in today's and even before's generations? 안녕하세요. 저는 Cyrene. And now we're gonna tackle about catching up with environmental problems. These massive environmental problems tulad ng polusyon ay mahirap na ma-resolve dahil ang gobyerno naniniwala sila na kailangan ang isang bansa ay industrialized, urbanized at fully developed. Pero alam naman natin na hindi lahat ng tao ay may kakayahan na makisabay sa pagbabago ng isang bansa, hindi ba? Sa mga ginagamit, sa mga lugar, sa mga pagkain, sa lahat ng necessities ng isang tao. So, a government must provide for the people also. Hindi lang dapat na isasakop ang pagiging industrialized o fully developed ng isang bansa sa mga kagamitan, establishments at iba pa. Dapat ay included din ang buhay ng mga tao na kaisa sa isang bansa. In terms of foods, nakadepende naman ito sa pakikipag-trade ng isang country to another country. Halimbawa na lang is yung mga kinakain natin. Hindi lahat ng ating kinakain ay galing mismo sa ating bansa. Yung iba ay nanggagaling rin from another country or originated sila sa ibang bansa. Halimbawa na lang ng mga kinakain natin is yung mga Korean foods katulad ng samyang noodles, tteokbokki, fish cakes, kimchi, yung samgyeopsals, at marami pang iba. And meron namang mga pagkain na dito mismo nanggaling sa atin. However, it is somehow harmful para sa atin dahil gumagamit ang ating mga farmers ng mga advanced technologies na maaaring makapahamak sa ating mga kalusugan. Ginagawa nila ito para mabilis na makapag-produce ng mga pagkain. At hindi lang to makakaapekto sa ating kalusugan. Bagkus, maaari rin na mapahamak ang ating kalikasan. Halimbawa na lang ng mga ginagamit nila sa pag-harvest ng mga pagkain is yung pesticides, chemical fertilizers, at meron ding mga genetically modified. The model of this ideal modern society is the United States, which, until the 1970s, was a global economic power, with a middle class that was the envy of the world. However, they did not reach this high point without environmental consequences. Until this very day, they are called the worst polluter in this history of the world. Sila rin ay responsable for the 27% of the world's carbon dioxide emissions. 60% of the carbon emission came from the cars and other vehicles. Also, meron ding galing sa smokes, coal factories, forest fires, methane or a flammable gas, paints, aerosols, and mga dust. These ecological consequences are far from the mind of countries like China, Indonesia, and India. Dahil sa kagustuhan nila na makakatch up sa United States, ay gumawa sila ng kanilang sariling way pero with less energy o cheap energy para mag-improve ang kanilang pamumuhay. Ngunit dahil dito, mas lalong harmful para sa kanilang environment. Dahil sa kaunting enerhiya lang ang ginagamit nila, nagre-require pa rin ito ng mas lalong energy kumpara sa United States. Kaya naman kailangan nila bumili ng mas marami na kagamitan o produkto para mapangyari ito. They would use their natural resources such as coal, oil, forest, and agricultural products and minerals. These extractive economies, however, are terminal economies. Ang terminal economies ay nagfo-focus sa pag-trade rather than production. Meaning, mas pinipili na makipagpalitan ng produkto kaysa mag-produce ng isang produkto. Also, a terminal economics ay isang lugar kung saan nai-import at nade-deport ang mga goods and products. And yung mga resources na ginagamit nila, which are depleted or already used, ay magiging cause rin ng pollution. Ang extractive economies naman ay nagfo-focus sa pag-remove ng natural resources like minerals, oil, crops from farms, and timber. They export it and send it to another countries and they profit from it. So dito naman tayo sa Nigeria. Sa Nigeria, matatagpuan natin ang Niger Delta Oil Companies na nagkukos ng substantial land, water, and of course, air pollution. In Nigeria, Niger Delta Oil Companies have caused substantial land, water, and air pollution. Ayan. So, kaunting kaalaman lang din sa Nigeria, no? Na ang Nigeria Delta of Nigeria is home to some of the largest and highest quality oil deposits on the planet. At ang petroleum, also known as the crude oil that is pumped from the Delta, has been the lifeblood of the Nigerian economy for 4 decades. Para ma-maintain yung economic growth na meron sila at para patuloy na masustain yung mga bagay na kailangan ng mga tao, ang oil exploration and production is magko-continue sa economic activity. Naintindihan ba ng bawat isa ang ating catching up? Ayan. So, tapos na tayo sa catching up. Next reporter, Joseyo. Annyeong!
Ayan. Thank you, Irene. So, Saya tutti sono Crisan. Oggi parlerò del cambiamento climatico. So, sa catch-up, maraming government or maraming country ang humahabol. So, ano nga bang nangyayari? Pagdating sa climate change, ano nga ba ang climate change? Climate change is caused by human activities, katulad na lang ng burning fuels, pollution, and deforestation. Many of these happen when countries try to catch up through industrialization. Katulad na yon sa nabanggit ni Cyrene kanina. So, these activities create the greenhouse effect where the gases trap in the heat in the atmosphere. So, that's why nagiging issue ito pagdating sa global. Next. Yeah. So, dahil ang lahat ng countries ay nagpo-focus sa development, nagli-lead ito sa climate change. And nagkakos ito ng extreme weathers, katulad ng strong typhoons, malakas na ipo-ipo, and miski yung tagtuyot sa California. And lalong-lalo na yung mga heavy floods, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas. Kaya nagre-result rin ito ng uncontrolled industrial growth. The next problem, which is ipapakita sa PPT. Yan. Dahil din dito, our nature is often ignored. Nagdi-lead ito na nagme-melting yung mga glaciers, ice, something like that. So, pagdating naman sa mga sea levels, umaangat yung mga sea levels ng bawat bansa. And namamatay rin yung mga coral reefs. For example, yung Antarctica is paunti-unting nasisira ang mga malalaking ice nito. It shows na dahil sa climate change, naapektuhan ang ating environment due to human activities na connected to economic growth. The next slide is the effects of climate change make it harder, lalo na para sa atin, to keep us with development. Katulad na lang ng food shortage, damaged farm and fisheries, and the spread of disease like dengue and cholera. Naapektuhan ito lalo na ng mga kapos sa pera. It shows that not everyone will benefit equally. So, climate change is the one of the greatest risk na kinakaharap ng humanity ngayon. Nakakaepekto ito sa mga aspeto ng ating buhay, tulad ng health, food, security, water supply, housing, at lalong-lalo na ang safety ng buong mundo. Kung walang aksyon na gagawin, ang effects ng climate change ay patuloy na lalala at magta-threaten sa future generations. Kaya naman, kailangan natin ng immediate action. Tulad ng paggamit ng renewable energy, tree planting, and global cooperations. That's all in climate change. Grazie a tutti e Aliana.
So, ayan. Now na na-discuss ang global warming, dumako naman tayo with combating global warming. Hajimami shite, watashi wa Aliana desu, or should I say, hello everyone, I am Aliana and I am here to discuss how the different efforts from global agreements to local actions are being used to combat global warming. Isa sa pinaka nakakatakot na kailangan harapin ng ating mundo sa ngayon. So first, kanina na-discuss natin kung ano ba ang global warming. So i-discuss lang natin ulit siya ng pahapyaw para lang tuluyan natin itong maintindihan. So ang global warming ay ang pag-rise ng temperature due to greenhouse gases. So ano-ano ba yung mga greenhouse gases natin? Yan yung mga methane, nitrous oxide, and yung tawag dito, mga gases na nilalabas natin. So because of this, nagli-lead siya to extreme weathers, rising sea levels, and of course yung mga health risks natin. which means nakakaapekto siya sa pamumuhay natin bilang tao and nagiging threat siya sa humankind. And because of this, nagre-require siya both global and local action na maresolba ang problema na to dahil kung hindi ay delikado ang buhay hindi lang ng humankind kundi ng mga species around the world. And because of this, yung mga manifestations ng global warming, pumunta, naging way ito para magkaroon ng global recognition. So next slide please. So ayan, global recognition of global warming. So because nga dun sa manifestations or yung mga epekto ng global warming, more and more countries are acknowledging the dangers of global warming. And it all started with the Earth Summit in 1992. So ano ba yung Earth Summit in 1992? Basically, this is where the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change or UNFCCC and the Convention on Biological Diversity or CBD ay naging open for signatures while ang United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification or UNCCD ay still on negotiation for summit outcome Agenda 21. Pero like masyado siyang technical. Ano na lang ba yung naging goal ng Earth Summit? So basically, ang gusto ng Earth Summit is to reconcile economic development with environmental protection, creating a blueprint for sustainable development, and of course, ma-foster ang global cooperation on urgent issues like climate change, deforestation, and biodiversity loss, which led eventually sa Kyoto Protocol of 1997. So yung Kyoto Protocol of 1997, isa to sa major step ng buong mundo. Dito nangyari, 192 countries ang nag-sign sa protocol na to para mag-cut down ng harmful gases. Ang goal lang naman nito is, is mag-reduce ng emissions, aiming for at least 5% cut down below levels during the 1990. Pero, hindi kasi hindi siya ini-impose na mag-force lahat yung country na sumunod dito sa protocol na to. So it was not mandatory. Kaya yung US, which is one of the largest polluter, hindi sila sumama dito. Also yung mga countries natin na kulang sa pondo, they didn't have the chance to join. So overall, ang naging impact ng Kyoto Protocol was very minimal. And because of this, next slide please. And because of the hindi naging successful ang Kyoto Protocol, nagkaroon tayo ng new approach. Next slide po. Dito na nangyari ang Paris Accord 2015. So the Paris Accord was eventually na-replace na yung Kyoto Protocol and mas nag-involve siya ng 195 in total na countries and nagkaroon to ng different approach. Instead na maging strict, instead na hindi siya mandatory, mas naging strict sila with the targets. So it allowed countries to create their own climate goals. Hindi na sila up to 5%. Nagkaroon ng mga countries natin ng way nila to emit ulit yung pagpaproduce ng gases, but at the same time, may kanya-kanya tong climate goals. So the idea of this is to build consensus through its long-term effectiveness until it is still certain. Pero syempre, hindi magiging successful ang mga protocols natin kung wala itong kasama na approach ng community. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng role of social movements. So while global effort moves slowly, many local groups are making real change. In South Africa, people protest for better environmental laws. In El Salvador, communities work to protect nature. In India, universities help the government make clean air plans, while Japan is a great example because they passed 14 pollution laws in 1 year because of public pressure. So, meaning nito, ang pagkakombat natin ng global warming ay hindi mangyayari just because gumagawa ng mga protocols ang governments natin. Kinakailangan nito ng pakikisama ng komunidad natin para mas maging maganda yung epekto nito sa ating mundo. Next slide, please. Next slide po. So, ayan, dyan papasok on the power of social coalition. So, sometimes the real action happens when regular people work together. That includes school, media, and local leaders na nagpupush for change. This partnership or social coalition can be more powerful than waiting for global agreements. In the end, everyone has a role to play. So instead na nagwe-wait tayo na ano bang gagawin ng gobyerno natin, may gagawin pa ba talaga sila? Let's start with ourselves na maging part tayo ng mga organizations or ng mga uh, talakayan kung saan tinatalakay natin kung paano ba natin matutulungan na ma-eliminate or kahit papaano mabawasan yung epekto ng climate change sa atin. Next slide, please. So, ayan, in conclusion, combating global warming requires action at all levels. International agreements man yan, local movements, and teamwork between different sectors, meron pa tayong mahabang proseso na haharapin. But with the cooperation of everyone, hindi imposible ang pagbabago. So that is all for my reporting. Arigato gozaimasu!
So now let us move on to what is the relation of environment through the globalization three processes, which will be tackled first by Cyrene.
Ayan. So, dito muna tayo sa political process reflection. Bago yan, there are three processes to show the relation of the environment through globalization. So first dyan is yung political process reflection. The government and approved laws are important factors to a clean and well-organized environment. However, there are cases that the acting political body does not provide the necessary needs of the environment to maintain its wellness. This can result in a poor living condition for citizens, which causes them to get sick. And due to this, countries like India and China reflected on this problem and started to use their country's natural resources and invested it in industrialization, which in return can sustain the needs of the economy. Next, we're gonna tackle about economic process by Chris Ann Silvano. Thank you.
Thank you. Globalization can both have negative and positive effect on the environment. It has contribution, but not but contribution to the environmental crisis, but also a significant role for sustainable development. Pero paano nga ba nakakatulong sa environmental crisis and globalization? First off, dahil dahil ang pakikipag-trade sa ibang bansa required us to use resources such as ships, cars, trucks, and many more na nakaka-cost ng pollution. We can say na global trade contributes to the cost of pollution. Katulad ng katulad sa mga effort time to trade with other countries. This can lead to using too many of the resources available to other country para makipag-trade. Meaning, kung yung sa country mo ay oil and main trade mo mostly ang magiging focus na kukunin ng country mo na yan and is oil, and pwedeng magiging result niyan is too many resource is used or taken. Lastly, if a country is rich and has the resources and capability to modernize or pasosyalin kumbaga, ipag ip i-progress country nila, yung pollution na naki-create nila puwedeng malipat sa ibang country na di kayang labanan yung amount of pollution na naki-create nila in upgrading their country. See it see it is this way, country is a rich, has the resources and the people to upgrade their country, but creates a lot of pollution. And siyempre nalilipat sa iba kasama na sa country B. Country B does not have the resources nor the capability para malabanan yung pollution nila let alone napapasa from other country. Ang susunod na itatakal is the cultural process reflection na itatalakay ni Daniel.
So ayun, nandito na naman tayo. Alam nyo ba na ang number 3 sa Japanese ay San? Last name ko ay Tan. Walang correlation, 'di ba? Ayan, wag na kayo matulog. Ito na po yung last na part ng lesson namin. Ang cultural process po, it plays on a role on how social circles and social norms are built. It also has the ability to adapt and develop it with the current environmental conditions. That said, in the cultural process, since it adapts, there are chances where traditional ways of life may clash with modern alternatives, though this can also help in positive changes. Not only that, but weather conditions caused by environmental events can drive people to different areas, thus possibly causing a cultural blending of sorts where our ways of living are mixed in a modern way. This can also result in new opportunities and new innovations and development of technology. Pero wait, teka. Saan dyan yung globalization? Saan dyan yung epekto? Saan dyan yung effect? So ito na nga, dahil sa globalization, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga tao na may shared culture, shared ways of living, shared lives. Kumbaga, mas nagiging socially aware tayo dahil not only through environmental awareness, but with social media. We can have different job opportunities. We have a shared culture and shared development for environmental awareness, and it looks like na nadodoble ko yung nilagay ko sa slide. Sorry, napansin mo yan pagising ka. And not only that, nagkakaroon nga po tayo ng ways na mas makakapag-empathize tayo not only with different cultures, kasi we also have opportunities to have something in common with other cultures. We get to see what they live, we get to see how they enjoy their lives, and with the cultural process of globalization as a whole, we are also forced and given the opportunity to see their ways of living and the other ways and the other cultures in general, which is a good thing. Yun lang po.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting our discussion through globalization. And ngayon, ang pinakahinihintay talaga ng lahat is the conclusion. It is for us to recap, to conclude, and to remember. So, uno, environmental degradation serves as a reminder for our responsibility as citizens. So, ibig sabihin, yung nangyayari sa environment natin, yung mga ways na nakakalat, yung mga issues na patuloy na lumalala, it is a reminder for us, humans who benefit from our environment, to act. Kasi, if we do not act, it is also our lives that will be affected. Okay. And everyone shares one interconnected world. Climate change affects all nations. So, hindi ibig sabihin na dito sa bansa natin, sa Pilipinas, maraming kalat, maraming pollution, naapektuhan tayo. Hindi lang tayo yon, okay? Kasi kumakalat siya globally. Not because it happens here, it doesn't happen to others. It happens everywhere. So we have to be aware of that kasi our actions will also hurt others, especially in the environment kasi we share one world. We are connected to each other. Okay. Dos. CO2 emissions in one country impact others globally. Like I said earlier, magkakonekta tayo lahat. Okay? So, CO2 emissions are not stationary. Hindi naman kasi porket na nangyari dito, hindi na rin mangyayari sa iba. Like I said earlier. And tres, global cooperation or solving climate change requires global cooperation. Like Aliana's discussion, we need to act as one. Like, we need to be unified in order to solve these problems. Kasi, hindi naman porket na inisip ko na, ay, kailangan ko magpulot ng kalat, kailangan ko ayusin yung ganyan-ganyan. Marami ka nang masasolve. Okay? Because our world is big and a lot of people are living in this world. So, kung isa lang ang mag-a-act, walang mangyayari, walang kwenta. So, we all have to be aware of what we are doing, take actions properly in order for us to actually change something and make our world the better so that we could also live more peacefully with a clean world. And that is all lesson complete for our environmental crisis and sustainable development. For all of those who are watching, I hope you do not just watch this video for the sake of magkaroon ng grade or something like that. Kasi this lesson is important. Okay? Because we are all living in the same world. Kaya sana mai-apply nyo to sa life nyo, and also it inspires you to change something and change your actions. That is Group 10 from BABR 140. Thank you so much, everyone.